Hey again. I said I was going to come back with another video. I just finished one on being dark skinned. So I guess this is a kind of like a this is kind of a I don't know, physical appearance thing today. Um I have had people commenting on my teeth since I was literally 5. Um didn't look as bad back then because you were developing. But what people didn't know and what people don't know on YouTube is that when I was born with the incapability of growing teeth until I was 2 years old. Um, I didn't know what it was called. I grew up kind of on a poor, broken, lonely side of Chicago, the south side of Chicago, in Robert Taylor. So we were on public assistance. So that meant that our access to dental and things like that was very, very minuscule. So they would do cleanings, but they wouldn't do anything else. And if you needed braces, you would actually have to pay for all of that stuff. When we were in the ghetto, so we didn't have a whole lot of people who were getting braces. So with that said, I got my first tooth when I was 2 years old. My mother told people, and I wound up hearing it later, that I would go around calling her Mamu from the time that I could speak till like right before I started cutting teeth at 2 years old. I was talking with no teeth at 2 years old. So um, back then, they didn't let me know that there was a condition, that what was going on with me was not a condition, or was a condition. I didn't find this out until I went to a dentist after I got married at 20, 21, 22, 23 years old. Um, I remember the doctor looking at my teeth, and I'll explain what ectodermal dysplasia is. But I remember the doctor looking at my teeth and going, so you have a lot of crowding and you have a lot of this, and wow, this is turned around and things of that nature. But he never, and then he quoted me in order to fix it. He quoted me $14,000 at the time. We didn't have, me and my husband at the time, we didn't have no doggone $14,000 because they weren't taking it out of his military insurance. Anything that would be considered cosmetic would cost out of pocket. So we just didn't do anything. It was just really hard to rectify what was going on in my mouth, and he really, like, he didn't tell me what it was, but he wrote it on like really small on my dental chart. So I felt like what he wrote there was some kind of doctor's jargon, and it wasn't something that applied to me as a person, because if it did, he would have told me about it. So I didn't know what was wrong with me. All I know is that my pathology was at 2 years old. I got my first teeth, and then everything started just going straight to hell after that. Um, Another thing is that, as you grow up, you start getting a really good sense of who you are, or you're trying to get a sense of who you are. And the older I got, from 10 to 12 to 14, I started seeing um, the differences that people started like telling me. Oh, you have teeth like a vampire, or you're a shark, or a monster or something like that. And I actually looked in the mirror one day, brushed my teeth all the time, but that has nothing to do with the formation. And I have I lost one of my fangs, maybe about 7 years ago. I lost a baby tooth that was right here when I was 33. Um, and I lost a baby tooth right here, and I had a fang right here. It's gone too. So they were right close to each other. I have teeth that grew in but they grew in like almost like they were turned upside down. So you would have the area where it would probably be the bottom, but it was on the facial part, like one of my teeth is right now, and it was smooth on the other side where my tongue could touch it. And then I have this one. See? That's an actual tooth that grew like that. So I have sharp teeth. I have doggone my 14-year when my mother took us all to get a family picture. I was mad because I didn't like my smile as it was, but the photographer tried to make me smile, and he made me smile, and then he snapped a picture like, "Oh, that's darling." Now he could see it, we could not. So when we got the pictures back, yeah, and they're on Facebook right now. One of my siblings posted it, you know, and it's a joke now because I can't change who I am, but it is really hard sometimes. Sometimes I think that if I don't get a job, it's because of my smile. Um, Sometimes I think that some men are not attracted to me because of my smile. It's not something I can do about it, or anything I can do about it. Um, it's been really really hard. So this video will be pinned just in case anybody has a problem with how I look. They'll be educated a little bit more. There is a YouTuber, and his name is. Why am I forgetting? Why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, he doesn't have teeth. He is going on 29 years old, and he does a lot of videos on hair. He does a lot of videos on makeup, and he's a beast at both of them. He does a lot of cooking videos. He does a lot of, what is his name? You know what? I'm going to take this time, since nobody's in here, I'm going to take this time, go over to my computer, and see if I can find out what his name is. I'll be there in a second. And this is not the actual song, YouTube, so don't cut me off. It's an instrumental. I'll turn this on until I get back over there. His name is Lynn Spirit. Yeah. Okay. His name is Lynn Spirit. Lynn Spirit is a spirit, definitely. He is somebody who has gone through adversity in his life. You would have to actually go to his channel to get it to understand him. But he has no teeth. He's never grown any because of a severe form of ectodermal dysplasia. Um, so he does not have teeth. He doesn't. I'm not sure if he wants to get implants or whatever. But what I love about him is that he loves exactly who he is, and he accepts himself for who he is, and it doesn't matter what other people think. Whether he's doing a twerking video or sliding down a pole, he is authentically who he is, and I'll always admire him. Another person that I know of, not personally, but on YouTube, who has ectodermal dysplasia and he recently got dental work, is Corey X Kenshin. He is a game streamer. Um, almost at that 4 million subscriber mark. So much love to you. My daughter's got me hooked on him, and yeah, I know I need some friends. But I was inspired to do this video because I saw his and I saw Lynn's and I saw that there is a support group. That there is a support group for people who are going through the throes of having been born with ectodermal dysplasia. Um, the one thing I'll share something with you, and I'm going to end this video in a second or in a few minutes. But I lived um, after my separation, actually during no after my divorce. Actually, I shared space with one of my best friends, who is a man, and it is an eye-opening experience when the only time you've actually had lived with a man is when you were married almost 17 years. When you were married 17 years at the divorce, and all of a sudden you're living with another man and everything. So now you have to do things a lot differently. You're not living by yourself. Um, so your beauty regimen is going to be a little bit more heightened because you don't want to come out like you're like this ugly duckling and things of that nature. But um, we bonded over the fact that he is a very honest person. And when I was going through my whole trying to figure out who I am physically and mentally and emotionally, when I was going through all of that and bouts with depression and everything, he was right there. And I disclosed to him that I'm not somebody who loves myself. I don't love my smile. I never did. I always called myself ugly in front of him. I always said that I was um, never meant to be happy because I wasn't beautiful. Um, and even though I was married, that there's some things in that whole dynamic that was just not right. Now that I think of it, even though we were fundamentally happy, um, you know, maybe another story for another time. But I really have always had a problem with my smile. So my friend sat me down and he told me, he said, think of it this way. He said, had you been born with perfect teeth and everything, you'd probably be a different person. Now I know people who have lost weight and it goes to their head and they're all gassed up, and people tell them what they want to hear because they are aesthetically beautiful. And I can't let any like even a small compliment go to my head because I know what my flaws are and I know what my limits are. So he told me, he said, because you were born imperfect, you have a better grasp of what it is to be human, and you are humble. The way you look humbles you. At first, when he said that, I took offense because I felt like, well, if that's the case, If that is absolutely the case, then are you telling me that I'm like just this ugly person that I really shouldn't be, and maybe because I was projecting because that's how I was feeling on the inside. He told me that I was a beautiful person on the inside, and on the outside I was pretty too, but because my teeth are not perfect, he never said you're ugly because of your teeth. He said that you do not have a big head because you weren't told and had your head voluptuated because men are looking at you and go, oh, you're a beautiful woman for a dark skinned woman, or something like that. I can deal with your teeth. And he said because you were born imperfect, you are humble. If you were born with perfect teeth, you probably wouldn't be as humble as you are. And it all depends on how people treat you. I didn't think about that and I was like 41 years old when he told me that. All this time, I've been thinking I'm ugly. If I'm ugly on the outside, I must be ugly on the inside too. He said, no, you're beautiful. My battery is low. Uh, it's telling me my battery is low. Let's see. Yeah, I'm at 9%. I'm good because I'm gonna end in a second. Um, so anybody that's going through any kind of problem with how you look, um, whether it's your smile or maybe you have a lazy eye. I have two daughters who have lazy eyes, or three actually, who have lazy eyes because their dad has a lazy eye. Um, um, it is important for you to understand that you can't put yourself in a situation where every time somebody says something about you, you have to mirror it with um, your own insecurities. If somebody calls you ugly, you don't repeat what they said. You just leave them alone and find a way to love yourself better. Find a hobby that'll get your mind off of all of the negativity that you hear every day about how you look. Or, um, for instance, I sew. I make, this is a wristlet. I make bags and purses and things of that nature. That's what I do. I'm going to be selling them soon. These are eyeglass cases. This actually makes me feel like I'm good. I've raised really good daughters. My daughters are very respectful and they don't think they're better than everybody. They have their imperfections and stuff like that, but I want them to capitalize off of their imperfections by looking at them and going, okay, God created me in this way. My best bet is to accept who I am, accept what I look like. Later on, it'll get fixed or whatever, but it's not a big deal right now because I don't have to impress anybody. The only person I have to impress is me. You know? You have to be the best good person you can be while you're here on earth. It ain't got nothing to do with how you smile, what you look like, how dark your skin is, how nappy your hair is. Has nothing to do with that. If you're not a good person, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside because what you feel like on the inside is going to come shooting out at people. I learned that a long time ago, that part right there. You could be the most beautiful person in the world and still be an ugly monster on the inside. So I don't smile because I know my limits. I have a really good grin. But one day, when I am able to get my teeth done so that I could smile more and be more presentable to people, I will. But until then, people are going to have to look into my heart and see what kind of person I am and stop looking into my mouth to see how crooked my teeth are. One thing before I leave, I was on Twitter one day and I went live showing my bags. And this guy came in called me gorgeous, and then I told him, started talking about my teeth because I'm very big on. Let me preface this. This is a disclaimer. Um, I don't like this about me, and I don't care if you don't like this about me. He actually told me to smile, and a lot of men do that, and a lot of people do that when you have an imperfection such as I do. They do that so that they can meme you, and they can make it so that you look a fool to them. Some people actually get off on that alone. They get off on um, let's say somebody is deformed. They will take a picture of that, and they would do a screenshot, and they would use it to describe somebody they don't like. And I'm not going to be used in that way. So no, I'm not going to smile. I'm not going to smile until I'm comfortable to do so. Until then, I think I'm a pretty decent person. I'm getting better every single day. All right? So that's my commentary on ectodermal dysplasia. I hope this made you guys a little bit more knowledgeable about what it is. As a matter of fact, since I have 5% left, I can actually preface it, give you a little bit more information. Ectodermal dysplasia affects the formation of your teeth. It for it affects breasts, uh, like breast formation, um, discoloration in your skin. I actually have little white blotches everywhere. Maybe I'm thinking it's because I'm going on 50 years old, that's probably what the issue is. But it's because of the ectodermal dysplasia, where I never had a white mark. I actually have a white mark on my chest, and a couple of lighter areas on me. Um, it affects how your bones and a whole lot of other things. But the one thing that it should not it does, but it shouldn't have an impact on is how good of a person you are. If you are somebody who has ectodermal dysplasia and you're on Facebook, look up the ectodermal dysplasia support group, and and I'm in there now, and I was reluctant to share my story with them because I wasn't sure how they would take it. So I am going to put that story out there today. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of how I look. I just don't like it sometimes. But with that said, just because I don't like it doesn't mean you have to like it either. I'll be okay. Peace.